the sweetest thing I know. You said you wish I was a little more patient, and I just wish your heart was vacant, baby. Tell me who's gonna stay lately. When I call, you don't call back. Turn it on and then I fall back. Cause I need to know if you're still visible. Boy, I know you ain't the same. You try to change you, but can't compromise. I know we need the distance to when you're missing. Do it cross your mind, don't lie. Tell me, are you happy? Tell me, are you happy?
Well, for y'all, it's really a bonus for real because we ain't getting none of that. You said clothes, and house, and feed. That's all you're really close to in reality. So anything else really is a bonus for sure. Yeah. But we're going to get close to it. I feel like it's that fault that we, for a lot of kids, is have it in a way too, in a certain manner, because we too busy trying to focus on getting them and putting them in position. The shit that we was in, we try our best for them not to have to deal with that, see that, understand that, none of that shit. We don't want them to go without or go over and half, so it's like they spoiled in a way. You know what I'm saying? That's compared to how we grew up.
We just act real privileged because they, you know what I'm saying, in a certain type of position. It ain't the best position, but this is what normally go on.
That's the word I'm looking for, privilege.
This is what normally go down. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to having my own bread at this age, your bread too, all that, so.
That's our fault in a way too, but then it's like, damn, we just trying to find a way for y'all not to struggle as versus we did, make it a little more easy on y'all, just because we able to. You know, this shit gets going to their head for real. They be taking advantage of this shit. Like, I think shit's swishing. All these new generation kids are working hard as fuck just so that they won't be in a situation that we was in. That made them privileged everything. Ride to school, ride back from school. Certain shit y'all gotta learn to get on y'all out here on y'all own and do.
And plus we haven't allowed them to do that.
I've been trying to embed that shit in his ass too. Like, listen, stop steady calling me for everything. I think that it's sweet, like, oh, well, they gonna do it anyway. Whatever needs to be done after that, my mama gonna do it. I wasn't even realizing that I made it sweet for him.
And like, you can't groom a person a certain way and then say, stop calling me to do so and so.
Like, I made it too sweet for y'all. That was my fault. I still have to start doing something. If you don't understand that, brother, however I did you, however the case may be, you're going to have to see it for yourself one day. One day I'm not going to be here.
The reality of it is, what I'm saying is they've been coddled. Ain't no just, one day, everything stops. It has to be unlearned and things have to be relearned. It's like starting all the way over. So it's going against yourself and them when you don't start from the beginning. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Don't be ready. Like, Mom, you need to come to the living room for you real quick. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, she comes to the food. Hey, you need to get it together.
That'll do it.
They ain't trying to do all that stuff they telling you, like, how you think you gonna have? Boy, slowly but surely, man. But, man.
Gotta start putting new habits up in. It ain't never too late, but you gotta just start embed new habits consistently. That's like even with ourselves. We gotta learn new habits and all that. Thinking we constantly set new goals, but the habit's still the same. No. Gotta change all them habits out and replace them with better ones, or back to square one every time.
That shit is aggravating, like, for real. He only does that at all if he's trying to eat or sneaking shit in my...
Hey y'all. I'm about to make a few runs. Today is Monday. First stop, Whole Foods for sure. Quick little outfit check. I just have on this little Chicago. Wow, what do they call these? It's a shame. This was initially my son's. He got it from Shein. It was a little too big for his liking, so he gave it to me. Crop tank. I have these very stretchy, ribbed leggings on that goes with a top. The top that I actually wore on my son's graduation, I had it up under that black throwover. That's what these pants go to. Came from Rainbow. Have on my little accessories. Retwist hair by my sister. 2-strand. Get into it, y'all. Get into it, y'all. I ain't really get no video for real, but just know that it's on point. Just know that it's doing what it needs to be doing. Hair by Quetta on IG. Y'all go book y'all appointment ASAP. Get yourself right. You know, stop playing with yourself.
Stop bullshitting with yourself. Okay.
My Yeezy Slate, my YSL bag, in which I need to get fixed. Y'all, if y'all know, I need to go online and figure out I need to get this part of the bag fixed. Just wear and tear from putting certain stuff in it, you know. So, and that's my favorite handle to carry. So that's why I don't wear this as much. I've been recently wearing it more, but I have to carry it by this long handle. That's pretty much the outfit. Simple and sweet. Gonna make some errands. Whole Food, Walgreens, the post office, and I think that's about it. And I also have these sunglasses that I'm gonna wear. Y'all already know it ain't a fit without some sunglasses, period. I don't care what kind of fit it is. It ain't a fit without some sunglasses, a little accessories, earrings. It just ain't a fit without that. But these are some VYYB dupes, the box chunky square ones. I love these so bad. Better than the other shape ones that I have, because when I went to that beauty supply, they didn't have this shape, this form. But yeah, $5. Beauty supply on 103rd and what's that, King Drive? It's giving, boss. I just love me real bad. The good, bad, the ugly, the beautiful, everything, like, because it's all for a purpose, all a purpose. But I'll see y'all in a minute. Oh yeah, y'all, I can't find my battery pack. My battery pack is missing. I need to text my sister to see if it's in her car, because can't use my camera. I'm gonna be on my phone all day until I find it. But I like this look. I'm feeling this little fit that I just kind of threw together real quick, like just simple, you know. Like I looked at this hanging up and I'm like, black leggings, some black up under it, or something white possibly. Yeezys, just like one piece leads to the whole creation. Yeah, it's just like that. Love it. See y'all in a minute.
And fuck that Gucci, just look how you do me. I need you to not leave the crib when I'm sleep. I need you.
I'm tired of talking. Money on my mind is off this week.
Let me lay you down. Matter of fact, disregard it, cause I got your man and talking about.
God, I need you more than ever. I was hoping you came. Picasso, the best way to put it. Before you knew the meaning of it, you misunderstood it. Shit is crazy out here. It's like I love it and I hate it out here. Tough love being assertive, that's the way that I care. So much pain in me. I gotta keep faith. I gotta stay strong. I've been fighting all my life.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
All right. Do you need your own cord for this?
No, ma'am. What kind of phone do you have?
It's an iPhone. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
None was just in the bank and all the way behind the glass. Shorty like, may I ask what you got on? What you got on? Don't worry about it, sweetheart. No, but baby, those dupes from the oil perfumery, baby. That Vinces for Her Creed dupe and that Lost Cherry Tom Ford dupe. When you mix those together, thank me later or thank me now, whichever one. It's a different type of combination. She like, what is that? Like, I had to tell her, like, y'all mixed them two together, you know, like, and they're dupes at that. So y'all, when I tell y'all, I don't be exaggerating, it smells so good together. And I just had a nose to be like, yeah, this go with this. The same with my taste buds, like.
Ladies and gentlemen,
There's something about this girl, man, from around my way. Ever try to hold back your feelings, but it just wouldn't say. But when I finally found the words to say, I wanted to run away, simply run away.
Cut the check, Man, tell them hating niggas cut it out. Your opinion doesn't matter, that's one thing I don't give a fuck. Right, ass kissing, that's something I know nothing about. Everybody in the same lane, so I went and took the other route.
Grand Rising, y'all. I'm literally fresh up. I got something to say. I really do. I have something to say, baby. Well, just wanted to speak on emotional intelligence, y'all. That's something that I feel like is very important. I'm working towards that just like I'm working towards a lot of other things. Emotional intelligence is important not only for men, but for women too. Even though women are emotional, we all know women are very emotional. It's just a part of our nature. I completely get it. But it becomes to a point where in certain situations, that emotion blinds us of any logic in a lot of situations. That'll end up possibly keeping us stagnant in situations because we're so blinded by the emotion and how we feel, so nothing else really matters. That's why, to me, emotional intelligence is very, very important. To strengthen that, to have discipline in that area, I feel like it'll allow you to grow much more. It'll allow you to hear much more, to see much clearer. Despite any situation that may be transpiring, like, tap into that emotional intelligence in those moments, especially when you are aware in that moment. Things could be so much different in this moment. The tone could be set so much differently if I didn't use my emotional intelligence. If I didn't bring myself back to a certain mental space and ask God to be like, okay, or to know that God is present in that moment to use you and allow you to use your emotional intelligence to redirect a certain situation or to redirect your emotion into logic and to use more of your mind than your emotion. Very important, because in this life, a lot of situations, the things we go through and come across on a day-to-day basis, the people we encounter on a day-to-day basis, like, it'll try to tap into your emotion for sure, man or woman. That's why it's important to know how to use your emotional intelligence, to strengthen that intelligence. I don't care if it's a woman or a man. I said before, women are emotion. A man is supposed to be logic, even though some men are very much so very emotional, very tapped into their emotion. And to be tapped into it is to be aware, but also superseded with logic. That's when you kind of get ahead in a lot of situations in life. Just because you are aware, just because you were disciplined in your mind, you were disciplined in your reaction, you were disciplined in your emotion. And that's why a lot of things that I do that I feel like starts a lot with discipline, and it also kind of marries together with emotional intelligence also. It's like one thing leading to the next. Yeah, I've built my discipline when it comes to not only the things that I eat, you know what I'm saying, choosing wisely and being able to say no, or being able to say, oh no, I'm not going to do that much on my plate. You know what I mean? That discipline trickling down to other things in my life. Being disciplined in a sense of, oh, I'm not going to deal with certain people, or I'm not going to, be in certain places, or I'm not going to, like, that discipline building for a reason. It's building for the places that God is taking me, that God is taking y'all to. Like, you have to build that discipline. Discipline applies to anything in life. You can't get anywhere without discipline. And if you get there, it won't last long without discipline. That is very important to me. Like, I feel like I've always been a very emotional person, and I feel like a lot of that comes from not knowing how to deal with your emotions sometimes. Not knowing how to deal with those emotions, and also not being able to process the things that cause that emotion in the first place. Not processing. It's not processing because you're not dealing with it and not acknowledging what even initially caused that emotion in the first place. Not on the surface level, but beneath that surface, what caused certain emotions. When we acknowledge those things like that, and are aware of those things, like, we're very much ahead. Scared or not, fearful or not, when you know, no matter how scared you are of that emotion, or how scared you are of the why, or any of that, forget that. Put the ego to the side, the ego and the pride, that stuff be in the way too a lot. It be really in the way. Emotions be running so high, and that's something that I'm building on and very welcoming of. This process ain't easy, but it ain't easy, but I'm just getting more in the space of, man, recognizing God in every moment, in every situation. Like, instead of complaining about it and being like, dang, why? Well, why? Think about it from God's perspective and from the spirit of God with certain things. I can take this from it. Even though this happened, I can take this from it and I can grow in my process. Take the spirit of God from it every single time and recognize him and what he's doing in those moments. And even if you don't recognize within those moments, be open to recognize it at some point, because he will sit it on your spirit. At least you just got to be open up to receive it. And I feel like for a long time, I've personally been, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, judging things, just not even thinking of it. It's just happening, like judging certain situations and judging certain people and stuff like that. And it's like, dang, never think like, why am I doing this? What's the point? I'm not no better than anybody. So now today I'm very mindful of when I do that, and I always I'm very aware now. Like, first of all, why does this bother me about this situation? Why does this bother me about that person? Why does it affect me? You know what I mean? Going back to that first, and then getting to the, who am I to judge in the first place when I'm just as human as they are? So now I've learned to, when I find myself, because I feel like it's something natural that we all do. Anytime you feel like you're in the midst of judging somebody, or it's coming on, a judgment is coming on, or whatever the case may be. And if you're able to be aware of that judgment in that moment, pull yourself in and redirect that judgment. Redirect that energy and put it on yourself. Always bring it back to yourself. So now you have a chance to, in that moment, reflect on yourself and stand you beside the very person that you're judging. Stand where you used to be, right on the side of that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, always bring it back to you, to not only just to humble yourself, but to take away that spirit of judgment. Because now it's like, okay, now look at me though. So now it wakes you up in a sense like, who am I? Everybody goes through things. We all go through things. So it's like, if you're not going to help the situation that you find yourself judging, leave it alone. You know what I mean? If you're not going to help that situation or be of help or of love or of light to that situation, leave it alone, because you will not help it or grow it. You will just hinder it. And a lot of times we judge whether we know it or not. I'm going to speak on me personally, and you guys can take it into your own perspective at the end of the day. We judging things based on where other things or circumstances or people are in their lives, and we judge it to big ourselves up, to make ourselves feel like we're better than that situation. We're better than that circumstance in that moment. Like, oh, I could never, that's not, Whether we know it or not, in those moments, we're doing that to big ourselves up and don't even know it sometimes. Oh, they're doing that. They're eating all that food. Oh my God, I could never. Going back to redirected to you, sitting in that chair, gobbling up all that food. You done been there. That's them. That's their process. Who are you to judge that? So it's just like, man, like, it's just, I feel like people do that to make themselves feel better or of a higher standard than that person or that situation or circumstance. I'm better than that. Because think about it. When you judge, ask yourself, why am I judging? How do I feel within myself when I'm in that moment of passing that judgment? How do I feel? Do you feel ego? Do you feel a little better? Do you feel like a little more mightier? Do you feel a little more like, oh, I'm really that? Like, how do you feel? in that moment and ask yourself in those moments, why am I judging? I feel like we all are put on this earth, and it's in all of our spirit. We're all of love. Like, we're all love. Everything else, we learn it. You know what I mean? Anything evil, negative, mean, devilish, any of that, we learn it. We come into this world full of love. We're love. Love is life. Life is love. That's it. Love, period. If we operated in love with everything that we did, the world would be a better place. And I ain't talking about just being loving. Like, you can be loving. We all can be loving. But it's a difference between being loving and being love. To be love and to be loving, those are two different things. Because anybody can take a moment and consciously, oh, I'm going to be loving today. And I feel like that's a way of practicing towards. To be loving to me is practicing toward opening up that portal of what you are anyway, which is love. So to be loving is reopening that portal for you to be love, to get back to what it really is. Because we lose that in this world. We get distracted with everything else around us to the point where you lose the love in you, and the world will strip you of it. And when I say to be love, it's like, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, yes, we're all human and we get thrown off and feathers get ruffled, and sometimes we get angry, we get all of that. But if we were simply just back to, if we would just be love, it no matter how, okay, I'm gonna say this. If you got an orange, right, and you squeeze that orange, what's gonna come out? You give Susan the orange and let Susan squeeze the orange, what's gonna come out? You give Joe Malone, whoever, Joe the orange and let him squeeze it, what's gonna come out? No matter who you give the orange to, orange juice gonna come out. Every single time. It ain't gonna turn to lemonade. It ain't gonna turn to apple juice. Every time, no matter who squeezes it or how they squeeze it, it's gonna always result in orange juice. And that's what I mean by be love. No matter what transpires in the world or what the world give you, like they say, when they give you lemons, make lemonade. When the world presents you with certain things and squeeze you so much and just squeeze you, the fact that you are love is still going to come out, and that's going to fuck they man up. Excuse my French. But no matter what, be love. Because that's what we are anyways. We're love. Everything about us is love. We just learn everything else. A little kid, they're only taught to be mean. They're only taught to punch, to fight. They're only taught to smack, or they're only taught to curse, and they're only taught all of those things. We are love, so be love. Tap into the love in you. That's another thing I have to work on, even in the midst of all the environmental stresses. It causes you to battle. It's a battle. All the environmental stress. Your mind has to fight against that on the day-to-day basis, taking you so far away from that love. It kind of like the very thing that caused you to lose sight of that love. You're battling against it. You want to change. You want to be this. You want to be better. You want to be that, all that you are deep down. But the environmental stress is battling against your very being. And I'm speaking of me right now. Whoever can relate, man, to try to be so much more in the same space that caused you to be all that you're not. Ooh, just like trying to fill a void with the very something or someone that caused it. Just imagine trying to fill a void with the very something or someone that caused it. That's how it feels for me in the environment. Trying to be so much more within the very environment that caused me to be the lowest version of myself. Trying to, like fighting battles up a steep hill. Like when I say Nipsey, man, overall just focusing more so on being love, You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the environment, because our minds are so strong and so powerful. So powerful, man. Like we can take thoughts out of our mind, man, and produce and execute. Powerful. And I know I always speak on the environment and stuff like that. I always do because it's something that affects me. That's my truth. It affects me very heavy. Energy-wise. I feel everything. Baby, I can't stress that enough. So being in certain environments, being around certain people, it's my very right not to. Because I know what's best for me. I can't be the person to adapt to the very same things that I'm trying to escape. Which is me saying this environment and these people are much more important than my mental health and where I want to go and what I want my future to be. That's just like saying, oh, I just stopped drinking alcohol and I've been clean for a year, but I'm going to go back in the very environment over and over again to accommodate and make somebody else happy, to adapt to them, to make them feel better and them feel good about me being there and show, like, no, but it's going to bring me back down here. Possibly bring me back down here. Yeah, I can use my mental and I can use my mind and be of strength and overlook and overcome the circumstances or the environment or the people I'm around. But why would somebody have to constantly do that just to make somebody else feel better? Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it's fine. That's totally fine. But to consistently, I'm going to adapt to certain environments. I'm going to continuously adapt to certain environments and continuously adapt to certain people because I know that I can overcome it. Even though I know it might affect my growth. It might affect my mind, my mood. It may affect me because I'm not 100% there yet. So I don't need this in my life and in my space. I need something else to add on and give value to who I am and who I'm trying to become. So if necessary, fine. We all have to adapt to certain things and certain people sometimes in life. That's life. But to say I'm going to always adapt, I'm not. It can still be love and everything and me keep myself from that surrounding, keep myself from that situation, keep myself from around certain people. And it still be love. You know what I mean? But to do that is saying I love y'all more than me, more than what I got planned, more than what I feel, more than who I am. I love that more than me, more than my process. A person got to get to a space where they love them. You got to love you first. You can't be nothing to nothing or nobody else. No matter how hard you try, you have to give to you. You have to fuel you. You have to love you. You have to grow you. You have to learn you. Them distractions are gonna be there. They gonna be there. But when you in a certain space, you don't have room to be distracted. You don't have room for it. The overall thing, just be love. Just be love. And let that love start with you first. Let the love start with you first. Trying to please somebody or do something for somebody else for whatever reason because of them and not you first, it won't be long-lived. It'll be very short-lived. So it always got to start with you first. Period. Like loving on you more, learning you more, practicing towards what you don't want to be, how you don't want to live, practicing towards how you don't want to dress, how you don't want to behave as a woman or a man, how you don't want to present. You know what I'm saying? Like setting the tone for yourself, within yourself, practicing toward that, and you'll inspire everything else. The world will see it without you saying a word. No need to look for any acknowledgement. Only acknowledgement you need is from God. That's the only acknowledgement you need. Only God can judge. And I ain't God. I know I ain't God. I can't judge nothing and nobody. And every time I'm practicing towards not doing that. Even with my own kids. The little small, stupid things. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with them. Like, why are you wearing that? Like, even, you know what I'm saying? Like, just going back and reflecting. That's growth. Like, why are you wearing that? Or why are you eating like that? Or what? That's them. That's their process. This is how they're going to get to the place that God has for them. Period. Be love in that. Be love in their process. Because that's going to make things smoother and easier when you operate out of love in the first place. Operating out of love and not judgment. That's going to make things easier for them, better for you. It's probably already hard for them people. Or them circumstances, them situations. It's probably already hard. And to come and judge about it, that might be adding fuel to the fire. Instead of love to the person that may redirect their mind or redirect their energy or redirect the space they, you know what I'm saying? Or redirect their perspective or add on to their perspective or whatever the case may be. Choose love. Choose to add love. Choose to be love because that's something natural that we have in us. That's us. That's all that we are until we get into this world. And it just pull you apart, baby, if you let it. Pull you apart. Anytime you point a finger, point one back at yourself. Redirect that energy, that perspective. Tap into that why. And it ain't easy. It ain't going to be easy, but practice towards it. When you practice towards it, it's going to become better. It's going to become more natural. It's going to become more habit forming, which kind of knocks other habits out the box when you replace them, you know what I'm saying, with better habits. When you replace them with more light, when you replace them with more love, you knock all that out the box. It just naturally happens. Just like with unlearning certain habits and, you know, we quit one thing, but then we start another thing. We may stop smoking cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. I smoked them for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that and start eating like crazy. Eating bogus. Not only because that's all I ever knew, but was overdoing it on top of that. You get rid of one thing and you fill that void with something else, which is a dangerous space to be in. That's why we're supposed to and we need to build and practice better habits, better eating habits, having better conversations, different conversations. In our downtime, doing more productive things and forming all of those into habits. So when we get in certain emotional spaces, we're not going to the donuts because we done built up such a good habit with drinking juice and eating fruit and doing all that. It became such a habit and adapted to our body so well that you're not even thinking about the donut. So when you get emotional, you get in your feelings or whatever the case may be, oh man, I want me an apple, man. I want me an orange, man. You're eating a whole bag of apples. That's better than a whole box of donuts. You see what I'm saying? So be careful on the habits you form or form new habits. It ain't never too late to do that. I can't go throughout my day. I can't get up and not say, I can't even tap into no food without me done already had a juice or a smoothie. I can't. Because I don't form that habit now. It don't even feel right. My body ain't gonna even react right. Like, I got up this rising with all that on my spirit. Every bit of it. In the middle of me praying. Y'all, every time I'm praying, it be so much running through my mind and my spirit. It's like God be sending it to me in the midst of my prayer. It's like when you get done praying, I want you to say this. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And I always be having so much information in my mind to the point where I be like, dang, God, all this on my spirit right now. How am I going to be able to say all this and not forget something? How am I going to be able to, you know, remember what I thought about in this prayer? Like, how am I going to be able to do all? And you know what I always do? God, speak through me. Lead and guide my words. This is what I ask every time because I be like, I might mess up. I might get frozen. Oh, God ain't going to leave you stuck. He ain't going to leave you stuck at all. I'm sitting here right now. I normally have little notes and stuff in my phone, you know, just to start me off and lead me towards you know, and allow me to freestyle the rest. I just need like a starting point sometimes. And it's still gonna be like that in certain moments. You know what I mean? But I said I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna let God do his thing through me. And that goes back to trusting God, believing, having that faith, letting that faith override that fear. Just putting it all out there. And when I say God don't walk me through every single word in this sit down, don't walk with me through every single word. He ain't gonna leave you stranded. I don't care if you stop for a moment and you get stuck and you forget what you had to say. God gonna pick it back up. He gonna pick that slack up. He gonna hop on your spirit. Yeah, all that. That's just something I always found myself doing. Like, yeah, God, speak through me. Speak through me. Speak to me. Man, just be love, man. Just be love. Even in the most hardest, uncomfortablest moments, that's where you grow. That's where growth comes in at. To be aware is to be alive, man. Like, when you aware, everything hitting different, man. And ain't no big eyes and little U's, man. No matter how you see it. There is, though, is choices. Your choices make you you. Your choices make your circumstances. The way you think, the way you choose to think in certain moments and situations plays a big role in how things go. What we take from things, what we take from certain moments, it sets the tone. And I don't really know how to put this, but I know what I mean, and I know what I want to say. Like, the way we choose to look at things, especially the bad things, the bad moments, the bad things that transpire in our life, the way we choose to look at them is what matters. The certain thoughts we give it, the certain energy that we give it. We got into a car accident, the car is totally wrecked. Now you got to go through this all this stuff with the insurance company and blah, blah, blah. You're mad, ooh, out the band, but everybody's safe. Everybody is still well put together. Nobody's hurt. Everybody's still alive. Or even if it happened and somebody's leg got broke or hand got shattered or anything like that, how did you look at that situation? How did you approach that situation? What did you receive from that situation? It's all about how we look at things. And the other part that I want to add to that, it ain't coming to my mind. You want to look at it in a negative light, you're going to produce more and more negativity. You look at it in a positive light, regardless of the result of it, you setting the tone for what's to come. You setting the tone for, you know what I'm saying? In that moment, in that situation, that God see your heart. He see your spirit. He see all that. He like, okay. Just like going back to being grateful. Like, you ain't grateful, I ain't got nothing to give you. I ain't got nothing else to give you anyway, because you ain't grateful anyway. What I'm finna give you some more stuff to be ungrateful for. But if you grateful.
Nothing out here in the rain passing these flyers out for these bounce houses. Gotta get to it. If there's a will, there's a way. I've been out here too. But now I'm finna get back in the car. Pep say he got it. But that's what's going on. Little rain never hurt nobody. Nothing but a little rain. Self-check out at Aldi. It's gotta be new. I come to Aldi too much. Aldi. I come to Aldi way too much to have missed that.